Yo, this is Brandon Moore. You watching Toe to Toe TV, baby.
What's up, savages? This is Coach Chip, and you watching Toe to Toe TV. He looked up from 130 and looked at the junior welterweight division and said, I could beat Mario Barrios. That was Gervonta Tank Davis. Keith Thurman lost to Pacquiao in 2019. Came back in 2022. Looked at Mario Barrios and said, I could beat him. Now Pacquiao has been off and out of the fight game for 4 years. And he's looking at Mario Barrios and he's saying, I can beat him. But yet, some kind of way, Mario Barrios feels disrespected. We're going to get into this video. We're going to get into this breakdown. Out of the welterweight champions, and Mario Barrios had the WBA, he is the softest touch because you got a huge jump. Well, Boots not there no more, though, because he went up to 54s. But you have Boots and Brian Norman Jr. Anybody looking for a soft touch in the welterweight division knows that those two guys ain't it. But Mario Barrios is. Mario Barrios' face swells up. He had, and let me tell you something. Pacquiao has Freddie Roach and Boo Boy in his corner, right? And they're looking at Mario Barrios and they're going to have a game plan for Mario. But we don't know if Pacquiao can pull it off. We don't know if Pacquiao is, well, he's not. He's not the same Pacquiao because his last exhibition fight, he just looked bad. He looked bad. He did. He looked bad. And, you know, he's getting older. Pacquiao's whole fight game is speed, timing, reflexes, and power. You know, they say power is the last thing to go. So he probably still, you know, packs a punch. But the reason why they're looking at this fight and looking at Mario's, you know, he can't keep aggressive fighters off of him. He caught Abel Ramos with a beautiful right hand. Beautiful. Dropped him. But Abel Ramos, let me look him up here. He got a 78% knockout ratio. He can punch. And Mario Barrios is not a true he's not a true welterweight. He came from 140 to come up to welterweight. And that's another thing that they're looking at. But Mario Barrios has a good offensive game. He has a good right hand. But he doesn't have the defensive prowess, the wherewithal to keep somebody, an aggressive fighter, off him. He couldn't keep Tank off of him. He couldn't keep Abel off of him. He dropped Abel and he was way ahead on points. But Abel is an aggressive fighter and he was able to, that can punch. And he was able to battle his way back into the fight and it was a draw. Abel, I'm going to say Mario was able to keep his belt, but he was getting caught. He don't have no pull counters, no head movement, no catch and shoot, no pivots, no feints, and he's kind of slow. So that's why I think, in my opinion, why Freddie Roach and Boo Boy would look at that fight, even though Pacquiao is way, way past his prime, to look at Mario Barrios and his team and say, you know, we getting ready to go in the International Hall of Fame. And we're going to be like, just like Sugar Ray Leonard. He had a fight before he went to the International Hall of Fame. And we can beat this guy. We can beat this guy and run off into the sunset with the WBA strap. Now, Mario Barrios has the height advantage, but people bring that up like he didn't have the height advantage over Tank. Even though Tank is, you know, young and youthful and stuff like that, but what I'm saying is he uses it at the beginning. He got a good jab. Like I said, he got a beautiful right hand. He has close, tight, short punches on the inside. He just don't have the defense. When stuff is coming back at him and that kitchen is getting hot, Mario does not have any other layers to his onion. He don't have quick feet. He don't have head movement. He don't seem to get range and distance. I don't even understand how he let Abel work his way back into that fight. Abel don't have any head movement. It was like rock'em sock'em robots in there. So, you know, with the nostalgic thought of the days of old, looking at Pacquiao and his footwork and his speed, because that's what they're showing on YouTube, like 10-second clips of him just, oh, he still has his speed and he's still this, that, and the third, you know. But we all seen Pacquiao. Pacquiao is old, man. I don't want to see Pacquiao stretched out again, because Mario Barrios is not a slouch in that regard of him being a offensive threat. He just does not have defense, which was why he never beat, or I don't think he can beat, an elite fighter. And why people would look at him with his timing, reflexes, head movement, and he gets his face swell up so bad in fights. The only fight that I can think of that Barrios' face didn't swell up is the Ugas fight, because Ugas was, Errol Spence beat the fight out of him. And that's the only fight that I can think of that he fought a puncher, a competitive guy, that his face wasn't swole up. So, that causes a lot of wear and tear, stuff like that. I think Pacquiao's going to hit him. I think he's going to hit him. I don't think that Mario's can pitch a shutout. Now, if Pacquiao hits him and he's able to still pack a punch, we might hear that Jim Lampley, he did it. It happened. It happened. He can catch him with a straight left, too. Because Mario does not have defense, and he cannot keep an aggressive fighter off of him. You have to be able to, whether you want to do the shoulder roll, whether you got bobbing and weaving, pivots, stuff like that, feints. He don't have that. Now, his punches are sharp. Which makes him which makes him not be a slouch. His punches are good mid-range and long. But if you get past his punches, he doesn't have another layer to his onion. He doesn't have head movement. He's not catching and shooting. He don't pivot out of the way, creating angles, none of that. You know what I mean? So which makes him, he never beat an elite fighter. He never beat an elite fighter where, Mario's beat somebody who just like, that guy just stamped him, and he never did. So he's fought, well, I wouldn't say Keith Thurman is elite. He's a good champion, but I wouldn't say he was an elite fighter. Because Keith was catching him with like wide shots that Mario's has the range and distance and the height to be able to see. I would think, but obviously not. And he caught Keith with some good shots too, so he is an offensive threat. But Pacquiao, if he comes in and he's aggressive and he has that one more fight left, which I think that one more fight left in him was probably the Keith Thurman fight. But if he has one more push, I think he could probably catch him. But that's a huge if, because, and the reason why I'm saying that is when Pacquiao closing the gap from A to B was super quick, and I think that is Mario Barrios' Achilles heel, because he can get hit. So we're gonna see. I think that this is a signature effort. That could be a signature effort for Mario's to if he pitches a shutout just with the jab, he don't even have to knock Pacquiao. But if he could just pitch a shutout with a jab, that to me and the Fabian fight wasn't even that impressive. You know that the Fabian Maidana fight, you know, it wasn't that great. The Abel Ramos fight. So when they looking at these fights, you know, he has to be able to stamp some kind of win that say, hey, I'm here, I'm that guy. The last time he did that was Ugas, and Ugas was, like I say, Errol Spence beat the fight out of him, and that was September of 2023. So that was like, you know, almost 2 years ago, where he just had a real signature win. So he looks like food to everybody. You know what I mean? Like I feel when he said I got the call to say that Pacquiao wanted to return and he wants to fight me for my title. Pacquiao even been in the ring in 4 years, and he just gets a title shot with Mario. That lets you know about his legend, though. You know what I mean? He's such a legendary fighter that, you know, he can just skip the line. You know what I mean? But he said he felt like it was a compliment and an insult at the same time, which he should, because you got this dude that's almost 50 years old that was fighting when he was a child, that's looking at him and saying, I could beat you. So this is either going to be a legendary return for Pacquiao or a disaster, because now getting on Pacquiao, you know what I mean? He's beyond his prime. He is, you know, an elder statesman in the game, if you will. He's done it all, and it's a lot of wear and tear on the body. When you look at Pacquiao now in the interview, he looks old. He looks like a guy that's has brunch now, that golfs, and you know, he has older kids and stuff like that. That's what he looked like. So I mean, that's just he doesn't look like a the prime Pacquiao that was running with the dog, and you know, he had the stick beating him in the stomach and all that kind of stuff, and he looking all mean and menacing in the camera. He's just not that. He looks like an old guy that, you know, that's, you know, trying to live his glory days. I don't know if it's financial, you know, I don't know what he needs to even take that fight, because like I say, Mario's is not a slouch in regards to offense, and Pacquiao can be hit too. He can be, even in his prime, he can be hit. So, you know, this is going to be interesting, man. I just had to cover this. You know, it's coming up this month, so I had to cover it. And with the Fondor and Tim Tszyu fight, this is going to be an interesting fight. This is either going to be like a celebrity boxing match on Pacquiao's side, because Marios is going to be sharp. He's young. You know, his pride is on the line. So this is something that can be very, very dangerous for Pacquiao. And you got a lot of these. The WBC is just interesting. You providing these sanctioning fights for these people. You know, you got the Pacquiao fighting Mario Barrios, but you won't make Canelo fight Benavidez. Benavidez been waiting for like 9,000 years to fight Canelo. He has been the mandatory, proven monster, Mexican monster at all of these things. People clamoring for this fight, like, I don't want to fight him. I don't want to fight another Mexican fighter. All kind of stuff like that. But you approve Pacquiao jumping the line, coming out of retirement, shocking everybody. Talking about he coming out of retirement, hasn't fought in 4 years to be fighting Barrios. That's crazy. Anyways, that's my take. This is Coach Chip. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm out.
GRRRR.